Let me bang. I do let you bang. Hey, let me bang you, Caleb, man. I let you bang. I let you bang. Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Hey everybody, welcome to our Barnett MMA Roasted Podcast. We're back, people. I was on a ship for a week working. We have so much to catch up on. Greg Wilson, it was his 50th birthday.
Yeah, man, I'm old as fuck, dude. I don't know what happens, man. I don't know how we got here. It seems like just yesterday we were having a wild time in New York City, and now we're just, I just feel I'm just another old man in LA.
I didn't think you'd make it to 20. So,
Nobody did. So listen.
50. And then you had to roast. You had to roast. For
Yeah. I got roasted by a bunch of friends. It's funny. Justin Chafin was one of the roasters, and of course, he thought you'd be there. So he wrote some jokes about you.
Did he say him anyway?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So he was like, let's just pretend he's here. And he just did the jokes for you and Josh Wade. Josh Wade was supposed to make it. He couldn't make it because he's working on a show. But he wrote a joke for him too. So he was like, I wrote these jokes for comics that aren't here, which I knew when I put the party on Friday that most of my comedy friends wouldn't be able to make it. You know, I mean, most of them, we work on Fridays. But that was my actual birthday, and so I wanted to do it, and that's what happened.
So we got to talk about, you went to the fights. You went to the big fights.
Yes.
You saw Colby versus Usman, because we never talked about that, because I was...
I know, and I was like, it was so incredible, too, man. It was so much fun.
And I know it feels like old news, but fuck it, right? Because I want to hear about your experience, because you went by yourself. You were in New York City. You're doing comedy. You're seeing your family, or doing.
I was seeing my family. I was supposed to do some shows earlier in the week, but I ended up getting booked on a TV show, and so I was shooting that till Thursday, and then I basically finished shooting and went to the airport and got on a plane and took the red eye out to New York. So on Friday, I just got to see my brother's play. He opened a big play at the Soho Playhouse. Go see it. It's called Tammany Hall. He plays Fiorello LaGuardia, the legend. And then on Saturday night I went to the fights, and Sunday we watched football.
Let's go down. What TV show did you watch? I mean,
okay. It's a new show coming out on CBS called Smallwood. It's actually Pete Holmes' new show.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he didn't even realize they had cast me. He was like, I thought that was one of the reasons I got the job was he was like, oh, Greg, put Greg on the show, you know?
Yeah.
But he was like, no, I didn't. Luckily, I knew the director. I've worked with him on other shows for CBS and ABC. And so it was he just, you know, he's a great guy. We love working with each other. And, you know, so I slotted right in and spent 3 days working with Pete. So that was a lot of fun.
Now, I was in, where was I? I was in the Dominican Republic. I was like, actually I just got off the boat. I was relaxing. And then I got a text from you saying, can we do a podcast anyway? I got to tell the story about the fight. And I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, you can do it on your own. Fuck it. Like, you could have done MMA Roasted, but we couldn't figure it. Like, Don couldn't do it. And Sean.
Right, Don. No. It was McCorkle couldn't do it. So it would have been just me and Don. And I was like, yeah, you know, we'll just wait till Adam gets back.
McCorkle refused to wear a mask at the airport. So he drove to Florida.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm not going. But I think Frye just came on.
Yes, the legend.
Yeah.
And then McCorkle were.
But
yes.
There's a problem, partner. I got another meeting in 15 minutes I forgot about.
All right.
So I'm going to have to jump off for about half an hour and then I come back. Is that okay?
Yeah, half the time you jump off anyway because your connection. But Greg, what was the story about the fights?
Oh, well, it wasn't a story. I just wanted to talk about them because I went to them and they were fucking incredible. And I had all this energy. I wanted to talk because I was there live. I went to Madison Square Garden to watch these fights, and it was an incredible night of fights. And I just was having a ball. I just wanted to talk about it. Although I will say someone did, as I'm sitting there, someone goes, hey, MMA Roasted, Greg Wilson. And I was And I really wanted to mention him on the show. And then I was like, we're not even going to do the show now. So there you go. Well, they got the mention.
I thought that, all right, we'll talk about the fights a little bit. I thought Colby, it was a draw.
No way.
I thought the first round he lost 10-9, second 10-8. I thought he won the last 3 rounds.
No, absolutely did not win that third round. No way.
McCorkle, what did you think?
I had money on Colby, so I thought he won 3-2. But without, I would say 3-2 Usman.
And then Don, what did you think?
Yeah, I just go with Usman. You know, he dominated at 3-2.
I mean, you didn't think maybe the close rounds you could have given the Colby? I mean, if you were just – I mean, definitely I thought he won the third with the takedown at the very end. The fourth he won, he hurt him. And the fifth, he was winning until he got eye poked. And then no one really won the fifth. It was pretty even. Although Colby's crazy because the first fight that Colby lost, I mean, he lost. He would have won. He would have lost the fifth round regardless, even if it hadn't got stopped. He's like, I won. I'm the real champion. And this fight where you could say it was a draw, he's like, nah, he got the best of me. It was his night. So, I mean, if he's not going to argue it, I'm not going to argue it. I mean, maybe I was looking to give Colby the rounds, and Usman dominated so much round 2 that him coming back. But even with the loss, I feel like his stock rose because he has some heart. The fact that he was able to even finish the fight after getting rocked the way he did, I mean, I was pretty impressed. Were you impressed by Colby at all, McCorkle?
Yeah, man, he impressed me more every time he fights. Like every time even if he doesn't look better, he does something where you're like, man, that guy's got balls, you know? Like he hangs in there, man. I thought he looked tired again, more tired than Usman, which surprised me again. I thought he gassed a little bit. So it's pretty ironic coming from me, but Colby was always known for outlasting everybody cardio-wise. So the fact that Usman outlasted him or looked better later is surprising.
Greg, what was the Garden like as far as like the experience? People rooting for Usman or Colby?
I think it was a little bit both ways. I mean, you know, Colby really kind of. I mean, a lot of people like. I wouldn't say they weren't booing. It was more like he was the heel of the wrestling match. Yeah. You know, so there was a lot of ooh, but it wasn't like they were booing him per se, so much as just like, oh, he's the bad guy, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't make it. But I felt like it was almost like they were doing it because they loved that about him, not because they hated that about him.
Right.
And so
right. I thought so too.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was just, go ahead, Don.
It wasn't like they really meant it. They were just part of the show, you know? And
absolutely.
That was their part of the show, was the boo.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, you're the bad guy, you know, boo. But I don't think listen, when he was getting his licks in, they were losing their minds, you know, certainly more than when Usman was dominating. I mean, but the energy was still so exciting. And when you're watching it live, you know, Usman definitely had a strength advantage.
Yeah.
They almost looked like two different weight classes strength-wise. I mean, Colby looked. He looked just thinner, just smaller, just not as strong. And Usman seemed to dominate him physically pretty easily, especially in those first 2 rounds. And I mean, I don't know. I thought Colby was lucky to survive the fight. And I don't think his stock goes up. I mean, as much talking as he's done, the only way his stock goes up is if he wins. I think his stock goes down because he didn't deliver.
The fact that he was hurt and came back, and people thought it was a draw. You could argue it was a draw. I don't know. I think he showed a lot of heart, which people didn't know he had. People weren't sure if he had the heart that he did. I mean, he was almost out in that second round. And I think you're right, because I said they're so evenly matched, but the one advantage this dude has is the strength.
It really was quite noticeable how much stronger.
You were also at one of the best fights I've ever seen in my life, which is the Chandler Gaethje fight.
Oh my God, dude, that was talk about. I felt sorry for the Burgos fight that came after it.
Yeah, because
I was like, why is this the opening fight? This is the co-main. Yeah. Like, what is this doing? It was such talk about an amazing fight to watch. Yeah. Now it was just the best, man. Everyone was going crazy, and then the Burgos Quarantillo fight was also great, but just everyone had to calm down. Yeah, that Gaethje fight. How you open with that? I have no idea.
It's still not better than Don Frye Takayama. Let's not go.
No. But I mean, it definitely could be fight of the year.
Sean, what do you think of that fight?
I could have been there to see it in person. I also wanted to say earlier, but I didn't want to cut anybody off. Colby told me that Brendan Schaub told him booing's always just part of the show. So that's probably where Colby got that from. But
got
no,
one. That's one for today. So
I
far.
can't believe those guys finished it to the end, man. I told it. I thought it wouldn't get out of the first round the way they swing, the way Gaethje goes after it, and then Chandler was there to do it too, man. I can't believe they could take that kind of beating and continue.
Chandler rocked Gaethje early, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I really thought he was going to get it. I mean, in that first, but when he got out of the first round, I was like, Gaethje's it's going to be Gaethje's fight now.
That was an amazing fight. I felt bad for Frankie Edgar. And you don't want to say somebody should hang it up, but fuck. I mean, what does the guy have to prove? What more does he have to prove? I mean, he has nothing to prove. I mean, unless you want to give him a fight where it's like him versus Uriah Faber, like two legends or something. I just don't want to see him get hit in the head like that. What did you think of Don Frye of the Frankie Edgar fight?
I think Frankie needs to go to coaching now. You know.
That makes sense.
Fighter. He's been an amazing fighter. You know, I've always been a fan, but it's time to step away.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I don't want to tell him that, but that seems to be like how. Now,
but don't take anything away from Marlon Vera. He looked fantastic. I mean,
he does.
If anybody took a step up in value, I would say it was him.
No, 100%. 100%. Now the fights over the weekend. You guys watch the fights over the weekend?
Yes.
Don, you watch
No.
it? Okay. Well,
No, sir.
All right. What's all right? So Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez, an amazing fight.
Amazing.
One of those fights where also it looked like it was two different weight classes. It looked like Max was like maybe heavier, and that was the difference, was he was stronger. But Yair, and even after the fight, Yair broke his foot. I mean, his foot was like, I want it like so black and swollen that like my joke, Kim Kardashian sat on it.
Yep,
but Jesus, it was huge. It was and he kept going for those like in the fifth round, he went for that like super flip. I don't know what you call it. It was like it was a Hail Mary is what the fuck that was. Do I think Holloway looked amazing? I do think though he has to be careful though, because he was getting hit a lot.
So much damage. At one point, he had that piece of skin just hanging off his eyebrow, man. I was like, God damn.
And if he gets hit like that against a guy that can punch harder, I know he's never been stopped, but do we want to keep testing that theory? If he gets hit like that with versus a guy who's a bigger puncher. But man, that was a good fight. McCorkle, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought Holloway would win, but the odds were so good for Yair that I had to bet on him, and of course lost. So I knew going into that one, it didn't matter what I did. But yeah, 5-1, I had to take Yair. But he was close a couple times, man. Like he had him hurt a couple times. I thought he might finish it, but it didn't work out because I bet on it.
Now, there was a video of McGregor pacing back and forth while watching the TV, going like and then his TV's not very big. It's a big TV, but everyone's like, "Why is my TV bigger than McGregor's?" But he took it down. But it looked like he was ready to fight the TV. It was.
Turns out it was Schaub's special playing, not the fight. It's crazy.
People are putting in funny memes now, like in that TV of what he's watching, him pacing back and forth. I don't know. McGregor called out last week. He called out Masvidal. He's calling out Holloway, which he's not going to make 45 again ever. I don't even know what he's calling out all these other people that he's not fighting. What is he doing? What is Conor McGregor doing? I mean, he's doing what he always does and making it about him. This is what he does. But the second people are talking about something else, he's like, no, put me in front of him. There you go, still here, haunting your game. You got no spark without me. But if he wants to fight, he can just fight. Like, no one's stopping him from booking a fight. Exactly. He doesn't want to fight. He wants attention. Man. By the way, shout out to a guy that we know that has five McGregor tattoos. I talked to CB Gold recently. CB Gold! He's getting a tattoo of the Island Boys. Did you see the Holly Holm Island Boy video? Yeah. Okay, he's getting a tattoo. CB is getting an Island Boy tattoo. If you... That is ridiculous.
Island Bay.
It makes perfect sense. Like,
People can't stop doing it. They can't stop. It's addictive.
Fun boy. I live at home. All right, so that's CB Gold update.
CB Gold update. CB Gold's golden gold.
So yeah, that fight was awesome. I like that fight. Ben Rothwell got knocked out pretty quickly, like 30 seconds. I mean, when a guy gets knocked out that quickly, I don't know if he's done. Because it's one thing if he just looks like Diego Sanchez, who I love. But his last couple fights, he went the distance for the most part and did not look like Diego Sanchez. So you could go, okay, this is not the same guy. But certain guys going to get knocked out early. You could say, well, they just got caught. We don't know about their actual skill. Maybe this guy just hits harder than he thinks. Do you think Rothwell's done McCorkle?
I don't know, man. I've watched his last couple. I mean, he looked good against his previous one. I don't know. He's got to be, 43, 44 years old. He's getting up there, man. Even at heavyweight, that's getting old, you know?
You ever train with him?
No. I know Matt Mitrione did a lot. And the rumor has it he hit him way too hard constantly, so Rothwell didn't want to get head kicked when you're wrestling. So, like he didn't like training with him. But no, when he saw me, he said, dude, I thought you were supposed to be 8 foot tall. And I was like, what? And he was talking about my trolling days when I used to stand on stuff to like Andre the Giant to make myself bigger and stuff like that. But we saw each other, I think at UFC. It's whatever one Jason Guida tried to come up with a guy who said he's in the mafia and threatened my life. I think it was 123, 121, something like that. I don't know. It was ridiculous. But So
Don, Rothwell got knocked out in 30 seconds by a guy that I think in his prime, Rothwell would have killed him. What do you think about Rothwell? Think he should hang it up?
Yeah, he should step back. I mean, when it gets that bad, you know you've lost more than just one step, or one second in your timing. It's over.
So, like when you fought that guy,
he's been hanging on for about 5 years now, hasn't he?
Yeah. So you're fighting with, who's the guy that you fought? James, the guy from England, who's crazy.
James Thompson.
James Thompson, right?
Yeah.
Now that was one of the most craziest stare down ever. You guys were just going crazy like before the fight, and then it was a good fight until you got caught. But were you trying to intimidate him? Were you trying to intimidate him beforehand? Did you know going in that you were at 100%? What was your game plan against him?
Well, hell yeah, I was trying to intimidate him. I mean, shit. I just signed up like 2 days before, or something like that. And the only chance I had was him thinking I was the old Don Frye.
So you knew in your head. So you knew in your head you didn't have like that you weren't 100%. What did you think you were, like 40% of what you were? 30%?
Yeah. If I was lucky, I was 40%, maybe 35. Yeah, it wasn't a good night, that's for sure.
I mean, that's going to be one of the scariest feelings in the world, though, is going up against a guy who's at 100% knowing that you're 30% of like what you are before the fight even starts.
Well, no, not necessarily, because their 100% maybe just be your 25%.
Right.
You may have 10% on them still.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case that night, but
only one way to find out, huh, Don?
I mean,
right.
Sean, your last fight, literally, you couldn't. I tell the story all the time, but me and Sean went to a diner. He couldn't walk from the car to the diner. Like I had to help him, and he was fighting the next night, like 2 days later. I'm like, Sean, you can't get to the fucking seat in the diner without like having like. It was crazy. Did you know at that point? I mean, did you think you had a shot, like just a puncher's chance, Sean?
I thought I was I'd fought him before and submitted him really fast. And so I thought I would have a chance, if I could get a hold of him and do something. But he actually picked me up and carried me around the ring and slammed me like first thing right on my back. Oof. And I like lost all feeling below my waist for like a minute and a half. So I thought I was crippled at that point, but still too proud to tap. So not to that, but I didn't think it was going to be good, especially because the first time I fought him, he was 285 or something at Bellator. And he came in this one 235 in the best shape of his life. And he told me, yeah, man, I thought I was this is probably my last chance to win. I've lost too many in a row. So I actually moved to Miami for 14 weeks and trained at ATT every day, 3 times a day. I was like, cool, because I'm just like hanging out at my house.
Greg,
so,
like Greg, I was begging Sean. I go, Sean, please don't take this fight. Sean, please. I'm your friend. I fucking love you. please don't fight. Like, you can't walk to the fucking, he's like, they're giving me 50 grand. Whatever they were giving a decent number. I was like,
well, the problem was too, I committed to it like 4 or 5 months before, and I had several cortisone injections lined up between that and the fight. So I thought, well, surely of these 19 cortisone injections, one will kill the pain enough that I can train. And I was wrong. So I just kept getting shots and it kept not working. So,
dude, then there was a fight. Dude, then there was a fight where Sean had, right? He's like, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm running 5 miles a day. I'm doing 3 days, 3 practice a day, right? He goes out and loses. He calls back at the podcast. What happened? He goes, Adam, I lied about everything.
Yeah. Wasn't training at all.
But that's like John said. He's winning the mental fight. Like, it's like, he knows he ain't got it, so he better put that image in his mind that he's coming.
With any luck, it made my opponent train harder. That would be
another girl that fought, Leah Letson. I felt bad for her because I know she's a military veteran, active duty.
But what's this fight doing on the main card? The one with, what's her name, Andrea Lee on the prelims, Cynthia Calvillo. These are both bigger names, and this was a much better fight.
I don't know why. A lot of it makes no sense to me, Donna. Even like the Rothwell fight. Those guys aren't even ranked in the top 15. It didn't make any sense with the main card. I'm not sure that they'd even I don't know. I think like with pay-per-view, maybe it makes a huge difference, because you want people to buy it. But if you're putting guys like, what's the difference, right? If you're on ESPN Plus or if you're on ESPN2, like, what I'm saying is it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't understand that at all. I mean, that was, Andrea Lee looked fantastic.
Okay,
and that was,
so Andrea Lee did look fantastic. There's a girl where, look, I don't want to speak, well, fuck it, right? So she was in a terrible relationship. I mean, I think he was like, he beat her up. He was like on the run. It was all bad. I guess now they're,
You realize this is the cut and paste story of every female fighter we talk about.
Well, I think he was her trainer.
The boyfriend treated her bad.
He was her trainer. He was her trainer, and she was losing a lot of fights. Like, she was, okay.
Now I see what you're saying.
I think she lost to Rachel Osman. She lost to Roxanne Modafferi. She lost to a lot of girls. And now she's in a healthy relationship with this and it seems like she's super happy, and it's a different fighter. And this is a different fighter. And I really think relationships can really fuck up. I mean, Don, am I right? I mean, Mark Kerr.
Absolutely.
Mark Kerr I never saw a crazier documentary than The Smashing Machine to this day, where he was in the most fucked up relationship, and he didn't train with Baz Rutten. He did his training camp at Pride, in his garage or something, or at his high school wrestling gym. And you're like, what the remember that, Don?
Yeah, it was pretty pathetic, I mean, he did a lot better than what anybody else would have done in that situation, that's for sure. He pulled through a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, look, I'm curious right now, Jon Jones moved camps. So he got kicked out of Greg Jackson's camp. He's now training with Henry Cejudo at Fight Ready with Henry and Eric Anders.
Now, when they train, does he have to do that thing where you get on your knees and put your shoes at your knees so it looks like you're standing full step? Is that how he trains now? Is that how it works?
He's using Henry as his cup. He's putting Henry in his jockstrap to fucking ward off.
He puts Henry on his shoulders and goes, "We are Master Blaster."
I'm very curious.
Town.
I'm very curious about this because, first of all, it's a great camp. Fight Ready has a great camp. Korean Zombie, Welly Zhang, the Pitbull brothers. They got some great guys. It's the kind of Arizona. A lot of guys left John Crouch and left the Ryan Bader camp that he was at. Remember that other camp, and they formed Fight Ready, right? But I'm curious because Jon Jones is undefeated. Everything he's done in the octagon so far has been correct. I mean,
Yeah, and just to clarify, outside the octagon, very defeated.
Yeah, awful. But I'm curious to see how this new camp does for him because how do you're going for, it's one thing if a guy's losing in training camp, but he's undefeated and they just kicked him out of the camp. They're like, you know what?
Well, and see, that's the thing. Him changing camps, I don't think is the problem. I think it's him. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's changing camps because he's losing. He's changing camps because he keeps wearing out his welcome everywhere.
No, of course.
I mean,
but I'm curious as to what's. You're not alone. I mean, Sean, you're not curious as to what's going to happen with Jon Jones?
I think, man, it's probably not a good idea. Like, training partners are severely overrated when you're 100 pounds apart. Like, I used to train with some really great 135-pound fighters, but it did me no good at all. You know what I mean? Like, none at all. So he's going to need – I mean, John's good enough. As long as he physically stays up, he's going to beat almost everybody anyway, as long as he's physically – you know, as long as he's not in an abusive relationship and coming in the fight injured, like some of those women. But, yeah, but I think 34, 35 now, so that physical prime is going to be over very shortly, no matter how many picograms you keep in your system.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Because he doesn't – eventually he's not going to be able to do the things that made him great. Like the thing is, like Anderson Silva, Roy Jones, these guys were so skilled. They were doing a lot of things fundamentally incorrect, like keep your hands up, blah, blah. But they were so quick and so good, it didn't matter. They were better than everybody. Eventually, your speed's the first thing to go. Your power's the last to go, which is why Mike Tyson could still fight and why Roy Jones can't fight as well as he used to. So Jon Jones' like instincts and his speed eventually is going to catch up to, you know, and we'll see how he does. What do you think, Frye, about Jon Jones switching camps?
You know, it's just some luck, buddy. You know, whether they can control his actions or not. So far, nobody's been able to control him. You know, and it's not what you do inside the training camp. It's what you do outside the training camp is John's problem.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, there's a video of Mike Tyson training for Logan Paul, and it's insane. Mike Tyson, if he hits him with anything that he's doing, I don't know how this guy. His TikTok, Mike Tyson TikTok. I mean, I'll like bring it up, but holy shit!
Listen, if he knocks him out, it's gonna be on accident. He knows the bigger paycheck is to go in there and not knock him out. So now don't get me wrong. I think he will knock him out, but it won't be for lack of trying to not knock him out.
Oh my God.
I feel like he's one of those guys
Jake Paul has the no knockout clauses in his contract. Have you guys heard that?
I heard that from like Dylan Dennis, though.
I 1,000% believe that to be true.
Okay, hold on.
It would make a lot of sense.
Well, and that's the thing. I think he knocks him out on accident because Tyson can't just touch you.
All right.
You know? His touch is going to kill you. Yes, we can see it.
All right, so Sean. Oh, fuck. I hate these fucking ads, by the way. Who watches the ads?
Everyone, because you have to sit through them to get to the fucking video.
Simple and affordable energy around the world.
We'll mute it for now. Or...
That guy does not look like Mike Tyson.
We're just giving a little free ad here to, of course, the world's best computers, Dell. In case you're wondering if they still existed, they do.
So, all right. Man, how long is that? All right. Okay. Can you guys see now?
I can see it. It's just a windmill.
I can see it. Just wait. Okay,
it's like in Spanish too, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, must be out of your mind. You think we ain't spinning for ball? We spinning for show. We told me not a 38 goal, but we be spinning for gold. We spinning the real trash. We spinning his show. And we took L for show. We're in Chicago. They know we winning for show. You talk about it. Better than their ears and spin all the eyes. You taking this shit to the max. Yeah, must be out of your mind. You think we ain't spinning for ball? We spinning for show. We told me not a 38 goal, but we be spinning for gold. They spinning for show. We spinning the real trash.
All right. So, what do you guys think of that?
Looks like his last training video before he fought Roy Jones, but I don't think he was trying to hurt Roy either.
I mean, how does a guy 54 years old still have that kind of power, Sean? Talk to me.
Well, I'm guessing he took a trip down to Don Frye's little doctor in Columbia for part of that. And probably a few stops along the way at other places. Don, by the way, is that working out as amazing for you as it sounds or not?
Yeah, that Columbia bioaccelerator is just golden, man. It's amazing. Just amazing. I tell you, they like I said, I got that first shot. I walked around for 2 hours. I hadn't done that in a decade. And the second shot, same thing, 2 hours. I mean, it had been 13 years, since I was able to walk, farther than, 100 feet at a time. And
how's your back pain, like percentage-wise?
What's that?
I said, how much did it improve your back pain percentage-wise?
Oh, man, 100%, 100%, because before I couldn't walk. And when they hit me with that stuff, it was like having wings or something, or roller skates, I mean, boom, I was just going.
Well, you sound better, too. I mean, you sound better.
Is there any way Don, any way you could talk to him about giving Sean that treatment too for free?
Yeah, I'll put in a phone call. You're damn right.
I don't even mind paying for it. I just can't pay $45,000.
John, stop saying that. Let's get it for free, okay? Don's going to get a phone call for you. If Don Frye puts in a phone call, he puts in a phone call. All right. Now, all right, another break.
By the way, Don, I saw the.
Look how much we're already talking about it. And hell, I mean, we spend 5 minutes or more talking about the thing, and it's amazing. You can't make a better advertisement.
Yeah, I actually saw the video they did of your procedures and your trip down there and everything. And I love that they worked in a couple of bits of the Takayama fight. It was also like, they were almost like, look, he went through that.
By the way,
look at him. It's a great video.
Have you guys, speaking of great videos, have you seen this band that the girl pees on the guy in the crowd? Greg, have you seen this?
No.
I think I have. I think someone did show me this.
Okay, there's a new rock band called Brass Against. Where I'm gonna say that it's like everyone's talking about it. What's up, people? I got some really good news. Okay, we are back and better than ever. A new web interface for the start of the basketball season, and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Yep, I'm talking about Bet Online. Bet Online remains your number one spot for the basketball and football action this season. You got to head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code CLNS50 to receive your bonus from basketball, football, baseball postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC. Boom! Right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait. Take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Computer. Oh, got it. All right. So I definitely want to hear you guys talk. Want to hear your thoughts about this because I think Don would be into this. All right. So you see this?
Well, I hope it's as great as the Island Boys video. I'll tell you that.
Okay. So this girl's on stage.
Nothing could be as good as Island Boys. Okay. Here we go. Yep. She's getting ready to drop trout. There she goes. And she pisses on the guy's face. Oh, yeah. Let's see if she gets it out. Oh, there we go. There we go.
What did she drink?
No kidding. She had to be holding that for a while. I did that, and I'm banned from the comic strip in New York now. This is fucked up. It just goes to show you do a girl, you do that shit. Oh, it's a fucking sensation. You're a guy, and you do that. Oh, it's like an animal.
You're R. Kelly. You're in jail. You're R. Well, they were underage, those girls. But what's going on? Like, isn't there a pandemic? Why wasn't everybody wearing a mask? You know, I mean, it's just the whole thing.
Maybe a jellyfish stung that guy on the face. And she was just doing it to save him.
Sean, Don, have you ever had a girl try to pee on your face? All right, so
we lost Don
right now.
Yep. He's like, I gotta call somebody.
I think we just re-injured his back. I think that was it. All that surgery for nothing. Greg, what is this? I mean, performance art is one thing, but just I mean, why would that guy want to get pissed on in front of the whole crowd? And I mean,
I question whether he thought it was actually going to happen.
Yep.
And it took a while. It did. I mean, the suspense was because that's what I was thinking. I was like, is she going to push, or how much does she have in there? And does this mean she was holding it the whole time just to pull off this stunt? Like, that's hard to perform when you got to take a piss. So.
I mean, some people think that's hot. I don't know. I mean, the girl looked like she was kind of cute, and she had like a cute rocker way. But look, I'd never heard of this band before, so now everyone's talking about it. I mean, it's all over everywhere. But is this what you want? I mean, how do you? Where do you go from here? I mean, what's the next thing? I mean,
Island Boys.
What was that? What was that, Don?
Sean pisses on you now.
I mean, like back in the day, like, you know, my dad managed Alice Cooper. Back in the day, that was like shocking, you know, eating the heads off, you know, like throwing a chicken in the crowd, or the fake guillotine, getting your head chopped off. This is a whole new level. I mean, now we're just peeing on people during shows.
But see, I think what you just said is the point. In other words, I think it's just rock and roll getting back to being rock and roll, you know, after this age of fucking whiny ass music and shit. It's nice to see rock and roll getting fucking wild again and doing some freaky shit.
So you're into that?
Absolutely.
Me and Don, we're going to be front row for that show. Goddamn right.
I actually do want to hear the girls' music now. Like, because the music sounded pretty good. It sounded like it was pretty decent.
I'm gonna brought a gallon of Gatorade, you know.
I want to see like Lizzo do that. Like, imagine Lizzo bringing up a person and just like it's just, you know. Anyway, so
I'm gonna leave you all alone on that island. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right, so let's talk about.
I'm not touching that one because she has a legion of fans, and I don't want you. You want to step on that? You go ahead and step on that mine. I'm gonna tap dance right around it.
All right, so some other fights went on. First of all, Bellator was on Friday, and Bellator, like, I actually from the ship because my buddy Tall Steve was fighting. We had Tall Steve. Tall Steve won his fight again, first round against Raheem Cleveland, who was a good fighter. He's been had like.
Wait a minute, the fights were on the ship.
No, like I was watching it. Like anyway, yeah. So
Bellator wanted to find a way to make him even harder to see. Like we're putting him in the middle of the ocean.
Exactly, we're broadcasting. We're in the middle of the ocean. We hope you can see this. We really have no control. It's raining outside. There's emergency protocols, but that's Bellator.
So this guy, Tall Steve, who's now 10-0 with, I believe, 10 finishes, they put him on the undercard. Like, come on, he's a heavyweight. And he's like, what is he got to do? So that really, cause
that's why Bellator is at the top of the sport, you know?
I mean, I was thinking about that. They arguably have an Antonio McGee Jr., the best 145 pounder in the world. I mean, the guy's knocked out Pitbull in like a minute. He could walk into any Starbucks right now and nobody would know who he was. Like, nobody would be like, oh, that's Antonio, unless it's like in his town maybe. And that's a problem. It's not a problem.
Wait. That has to do with the.
That's classic Don Frye right there.
Don, is there another room you can go to? I couldn't hear anything.
Oh shit! I keep trying to find the right room, but
now you sound okay.
But and yeah, Antonio McGee Jr. What were you saying about people not knowing who he is?
I was saying that has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with him. Nobody knows who he is. It's just the quality of customers at Starbucks, you know.
Oh, yeah, that too. I mean, 100%. I mehave there's a lot there, but I mean, that
was a long way to go to call Starbucks drinkers a bunch of pussies.
They have also they have a guy, Joey Davis, undefeated, 4-time national champion. I mean, Division II, never lost. This kid who's undefeated. They bury him on the fucking undercard. This guy, Cody Law, stud, fought on undercard. I'm like, what? Why are you guys? But meanwhile, they had this girl, Valerie Letourneau, right? Who she's a karate girl, super hot. Like, all right, well, she's very, very hot. She's the one that when we had Luke Rockhold on, he tried to DM her, and then she was like, I don't know, your friend trains at my gym, and it was Yoel Romero. Remember the guy that knocked you out? It was like kind of a shitty thing, and she posted it. And, anyway.
And then Luke was like, I don't care what he says. Tall Steve shouldn't be fighting on Bellator.
So this girl, Valerie, right? So she was like, she's an Instagram model, OnlyFans, hot, like, okay, very hot. But one of those things where she's like a point fighter, karate, where she just runs around the whole time throwing spinning back fists. And her last time she fought, she lost. And her opponent was like, her whole coach was like, your ground game sucks. You're not listening. Blah blah blah. Told her what she needed to hear. She lost. So she fights a girl that looked like they found her in like Marie Callender or something. Like, you know, they found this girl somewhere at the, you know, Olive Garden hostess, and she barely won. Right? She won a split decision. I thought it was a pretty boring fight. And then at the end, she's like twerking in the crowd. You got to see the reaction of, and it's just like, I don't know. It's one thing if you're knocking everyone out and you want to dance and all kinds of stuff, but when you win a split decision on the prelims in a boring fight, That's
when you piss in someone's face on stage.
Listen, Bellator could use that kind of promotion right now.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. They called it Antonio McKee Jr. People are saying he's the best kept secret in all of MMA. But the best kept secret in all of MMA is when and where's the next Bellator show.
Yeah, no shit. And that's the thing. I think PFL is quickly passing them to be the number 2 league. I mean, I hate to say it, but Bellator, with the way they've bounced around and they're here or they're there this night and that, the inconsistency, I think, has really damaged them. And I think PFL, honestly, is putting out a better product.
They are, but they're also not advertising. They don't know. No one knows when they are either. All right, so here's all right. So this is her after she won. Well, but she didn't even.
This is the footwork she's known for.
Yeah. A lot of footwork, and here's the other footwork she's known for. But John, we've said it ad nauseum. You got all this energy left at the end of a fight.
I don't know. I mean, it's just not my style. I mean, she's hot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if I was single, would I smash if I had the opportunity? 100%. She's a gorgeous girl, but she just seems like.
Make sure you tell your wife that if you get a chance. Just let her know that for sure.
Yeah. Make sure your wife doesn't listen to this broadcast.
But yeah, she wants to come on the podcast. But I don't know. I mean, I just think that it's one thing if you're knocking everyone out or you're winning convincingly, but when you're winning split decisions in fights that are very boring, who are you?
Personally, I've never twerked after a decision win in my life. I don't think Don has either. So.
Was Chris Curtis the one that was doing all the dancing in that UFC? Was he the one that was?
Yeah, but Chris Curtis won. I mean, he's like a 6-1 underdog. But knocked the guy out.
Clearly, the clear matchup now is her versus Chris Curtis.
No, the guy. Who's the big guy? The guy
that was dancing. Which one was that? Was he where was he?
That was the guy. That was your friend.
Chris Barnett.
Yeah, Barnett.
By the way,
she needs to fight Chris Barnett on So You Think You Can Dance.
Or just be in a relationship with him for a while, get beat up, and go be champion, right? Like if they break up.
I don't know. All right, what was that? 12:44. All right, so by the way, Chris Barnett, who won his fight, who looked awesome, who now that dude is fun to watch. But what's his name looked like he didn't train. Gian Vellante. He trained for a minute for that fight. I mean, he was ripped. He's a fucking muscular dude. It looked like he was in his third trimester. Like he was a surrogate for Amanda Nunez's next baby or something. Like what was?
I don't know how that happens to somebody.
Go on, you never came in looking out of shape. Come on.
Well, not in a fight, but I come to the podcast out of shape sometimes.
I know.
Well, don't we all?
So that was crazy. I'll tell you who looked good in Bellator is Aaron Pico. There's a guy. Bellator didn't know what they were doing. They put him right in there. Madison Garden's first fight, he gets knocked out. This guy was the best wrestler, one of the best wrestlers coming out of high school. Went on to try out for the Olympics, didn't make it, blah, blah, blah. Finally, he's with Greg Jackson. Super nice Christian guy. Just seems like a real positive guy. And he finally found his footing. And he's won his last 4 fights using his wrestling. He's not trying to be a boxing champion. Good for you, Aaron Pico.
He is scary good, man. He is really, really good.
A lot of guys would have quit. A lot of guys
like pee on your face good.
Well, nothing's quite pee on your face good and Bellator.
That stuff, yeah, that's hard to beat.
I mean, Don, we've both seen guys like Kevin Jackson or some of these guys that went into fighting with the huge wrestling credentials, and then they lose because they don't know what they're doing, and then they're like done because they can't handle it. Well, that wasn't the case with this guy. So
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people. Kevin Jackson is an amazing athlete. He just didn't take the time to study he didn't give the sport the respect it deserved, and if he did, then the situation might turn out different. But of course, when you're fighting somebody of Frank Shamrock's caliber, it doesn't matter how much, you respect you give the sport. Frank's a killer.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, the guy's an Olympian. I think he was a gold medalist, right? Kevin Jackson?
Yeah.
Fighting Frank Shamrock, your first fight or your second fight is just like, I mean, who's going to win that fight?
Yeah, right. That was bad booking. Whoever his agent was, he should have fired his ass for sure.
Now, bare knuckle boxing was over the weekend. Hector Lombard fought. Hector Lombard fought this guy who was basically like the Debo of bare knuckle boxing. He's just like Hector. The guy, I think he missed weight by 10 pounds. The guy, and he was. As an MMA fighter, he was 3-5, but he's 6-1 in bare knuckle boxing. This dude, and he's just an intimidating, mean guy. Good fighter, really good fighter. He walked out to the bare knuckle ring with like 2 girls twerking, 2 black girls like strippers look like, and he's throwing money at them.
That's an entrance.
It was hilarious. I thought it was a good fight. Lorenzo Hunt, the guy's name is.
You mean he didn't want to put on a 65-pound costume that destroyed his cardio on the way to the ring?
No, he didn't.
I thought that was just the way you did that now. All right.
But it was a good fight. Hector Lombard, the problem was he went up a weight class, and his arms, he doesn't have the longest arms. He's kind of a short guy, so he didn't have the reach I thought it was a good fight. He got dropped early. They didn't call it a knockdown. I thought it was. I thought Hector landed some really good punches. But the other guy was a better boxer. But it was close. It was a close fight. It was a good fight. And then afterwards, he goes, now you can keep your belt. Because Hector's still the cruiserweight, and this guy's light heavyweight. So this guy he had to fight this guy so Hector could keep his own belt. It was it was a little strange.
That makes a lot of sense.
Sean, did you watch this fight?
Yeah, I did. I was pulling for Hector. I thought the guy showed some amazing class after the fight when he's like, "Who would you like your next opponent?" He's like, "Fuck everybody in this room," like or whatever. Like, wait, what? Even the fans, like he was. It was nice to see a fighter finally show that much respect for women on the way to the cage. Also, like to be, throwing money at them. But
it's like,
come on. Dude,
honestly, we are in the golden ages of bare knuckle boxing. On the fight before that, right? Pearl Gonzalez fought this girl, Britain Hart, the one who beat Paige Van Zandt. And after she won the fight against Paige, she goes, "I'm not a person, I'm a feeling, and I want everyone to feel me." That's what she. So she has since married. Now she's married to Joey Beltran. They've been married.
So he probably doesn't want everybody feeling.
So in the build-up to this fight with Pearl Gonzalez, Pearl Gonzalez says, "Your husband's in my DMs." That really pissed off Britain because she said that Joey was in her DMs. Now, but to be fair, they'd only been married for a couple months, so maybe it was before. It was a good fight. I thought Pearl won, to be honest. It was close, but they gave it to Britain. But then afterwards, she goes, "This is my fucking home. You don't come to my home, and just screamed at her after she won. Pearl then made a video saying, "I don't quit, never give up, follow your dreams. This was my last bare knuckle boxing fight." So I have a little mixed signals there, but I think she's going back into MMA. But that was
that's a classic breakup right there from the woman. Like, listen, I love you. I love spending time with you, but it's time for me to move on. Like, wait, what?
What? She didn't quit. She did not quit. She transitioned. Okay.
And that's hey, listen, that's it's right on brand.
It was crazy. I mean, the whole thing was nuts. That whole sport is insane. What did you think of the whole event, Sean? Did you watch the Pearl fight?
No, I just saw the main event. But I wish they would let him fight in the clinch a little more, like, because I think it's just becoming just boxing. You know what I mean? Which boxing without gloves, I mean, it's kind of not that entertaining. But yeah, I wish they'd let him elbow too, standing up. I think would be good if they could throw something else. You know what I mean? If not knees, elbows, something to make it a little more where it's not just guys throwing jabs at each other for 5 rounds. You know, I do like the 2-minute round format, mostly because my cardio sucks, but. I think if you fight 2 and then you I wish the UFC would go 3-minute rounds and just fight 5 rounds or 7 rounds, you know, because I think with that rest in between, you wouldn't have so many fights that everybody's just, you know, gassed out, you know. So I think if you had a little more, or stick with the 5-minute rounds, make it a 90-second rest instead of a minute rest between rounds, something to keep the guys with bad cardio in there fighting.
Well, it does generally work out to about 90 seconds by the time they do all you stand, everybody you get out of the cage, everything. Yeah. It usually winds up being more like 90 seconds. I've noticed that specifically.
It feels about like 10 seconds when you're in there, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it's over way too soon. But in timing it and, you know, in watching it, it usually works out to where there's an extra 30 seconds before they actually, boom, start doing it again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess now they're doing bare knuckle MMA, but in a trigon. So it's going to have a triangle.
You mean a pyramid?
So I guess they're having a trigon, and I think Mike Perry – well, I heard Mike Perry is going to fight Sakio Bika, who was like a legitimate boxer. Like he was like a world champion. I don't know why Mike Perry's doing this for his first fight. And then I think in the trigon, Frank Mir is fighting somebody in the trigon, bare knuckle. So I don't know.
But is somebody going to fight on a hamster wheel? That's what I want.
Yeah, I was going to say these promotions have decided what they're doing wrong is the shape of the cage.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like I actually made up a rumor one time. There was this guy in Indianapolis who's a chiropractor, so he likes to think he's a doctor, but he makes everyone call him Doc. Like he made that his nickname, and no one actually calls him that, but he just makes people call him that. And I started a rumor on the Underground years ago that he was starting a promotion. It was going to be the Doctagon, the world's only 2-sided cage. Which everybody was confused on. Then one of my friends on the Underground said that if it's 2-sided cage, it'd have to be shaped like a vagina. And then we were like, oh yeah. So like, man, be careful, don't get caught in the clit. Like when you're in there.
They should have an all lesbian vagina caged. I think that would be the next. I think that's the next thing we should do.
Well, if you want to work in that pissing on the face, that's the only way to do it.
Right.
So we have Hector Lombard on the podcast. What did you think of the fight, Hector Jr.?
What do you mean? What do I think of the fight? The man, he's a giant person, he's rich. He hit me in the face so many times. My face, this is not my face. My face is still on the ground. This is a mask I wear on my face.
And it was very close. I thought you might have had it. But it seemed like this guy was kind of a bully. Did he bully you at all?
No one bullied me. Oh, no, I bullied him. I let him win, okay? I let him win because he's part of the elites. And I don't trust him. He ruined my life, so I let him punch me in the face.
Okay, all right. But wouldn't you want to take down the elite?
I try, but they steal my bank account.
Okay.
You can't trust the elite. I tell you this. It's a secret world.
Now, I heard that Don Frye Jr. might fight in the trigon. Is this true?
Listen, I ain't fighting in the trigon fight. I fought in a washing machine one time. That was a good fight, dude. That guy was trying to get out of the spin cycle, and I got him real good.
Okay, you fought in a wash. I had no idea. Did you win?
Of course I won. Before they even had time to rinse, I got him right there in the wash.
Wow, that's just good. I like it. By the way,
of course you won. How could you? Why even ask? Why even ask that question?
That's right. Why even asking?
By the way, I've been following. By the way, Phil Baroni update. Phil Baroni went to Mexico. First he lost his wallet. He was stuck in Mexico. But he met a girl. I think they're dating. And he's now training people in Mexico. So Phil is landing on his feet. So good for Baroni.
Listen,
so good to know
cocaine's
the
a hell of a
migrants
drug.
will also be trained in martial arts in addition to everything else coming across.
Wait, what did you say? The migrants are going to go?
I'd say it'd be nice to know the migrants are now also deadly trained in martial arts, not just, coming across with COVID and everything else.
No, but you got to see that, like, it looks like he's like in like a abandoned parking lot with like 6 Mexican dudes wearing like jean shorts and then Baroni with his shirt off.
That's never like the recipe for trouble. I'll tell you that.
And I just can't wait till this new girlfriend fights for the title.
Right.
How much beer and tequila is there?
By the way, I saw a movie on the airplane, Never Back Down 3, right? It was playing with Michael Bisping, was like the main star. And I love it. I actually loved it. It has nothing to do with the first Never Back Down was like an MMA movie, right? Sean, remember you watched that?
Yeah, movie, unfortunately.
All right, well, this one, nothing has anything to do with them. Basically, this girl and her brother, actually, everyone has different accents in the movie. They're in Chechnya, and she gets involved in like this like sex slave thing that like, and Bisping's like the villain, and he's beyond terrible, and he's like the girls are getting sold for the Albanians as sex slaves, and they have to fight each other. But it's a great film. Michael Bisping kills it. He's the worst villain. He's like a horrible human being. But I highly recommend it.
And then he got the role in the movie.
So did you? Okay, wait a minute. What was the name of it?
Basis life story.
what was it called? What's it called?
It's the new Never Back Down. I said there were a couple of things. I said, I mean, he has a line. He has so many lines because all these women are like they're all prisoners, sex slaves. They're all like lying there, and they have to fight each other. And they all get tricked into like going to this house, yada yada. And Bisping just beats up women the whole movie. He's beating every woman he beats up. At the end, like he just goes.
I like it already. Academy Award material.
Going on just not, and the women are being like just tortured and like just horrible, right? And then somebody asks him like,
I like it.
They're like, why are you like this to Bisping? And he goes, like, you think, oh, like my mom got murdered or something. He goes, I like hurting women.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's like,
surprised Jon Jones didn't get that role. That's all.
Dude, it's crazy. Dude,
how do you read that script and you're like, it's the role I was born to play, baby?
He pulls it off. Dude, like they have these MMA fights at the beginning. In the first round, I think the guy's wearing gloves. And then the gloves aren't there in the second round. Like there's a couple things where I'm like, wait, didn't he have gloves last time? But like, I'm telling you, and then it becomes
I would just love to have been the person in the IT department of American Airlines where they're like, someone's trying to actually watch Never Back Down 3. And they're like, is it loading? I don't know. No one's ever tried before.
Well, the guy and his sister, like the guy ended up, like he's supposed to lose a fight and he doesn't. So then he owes the mob.
So it's the story of Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
So like 50 grand. And then his sister knows how to fight too somehow. Somehow she knows how to fight. So they gave her like 1 day of training and she becomes like a black belt. But then she gets involved. They fly her out to like Abu Dhabi and she gets stuck. And then turns out there's like 30 women underneath the house that are all sex slaves. And then half of them get murdered.
Then why are they fighting? Why are they
That's
fighting?
What I think.
They're giving it out.
Because
sounds like they ripped the storyline straight from the headlines.
Some crazy.
I feel like they added an element they didn't really need.
No, there's some crazy lesbian that like likes watching them fight, and she's in charge. She's like this billionaire psychopath. And then she has Bisping's her right hand man, and then halfway through it becomes a musical. Like one of the sex slaves starts singing like for like 5 minutes.
I'm getting this movie immediately when this podcast is over.
Wait, does Michael Bisping sing it then?
Dude, Bisping, I talked to Bisping about it. I gave him my whole. He's like, he invited me to the premiere on Friday. I can't go. I'm going to be in El Paso.
Where's the premiere?
I think it's in Orange County.
Yeah.
Like,
also on the airplane.
No, I'm telling you, this movie is amazing.
It's on Zoom.
Walking out on it.
I told him
the premiere is on Zoom.
I told him it's a classic, bro. Because I after that I watched Fast and Furious 9, and I was like, oh, that can't happen. But this movie, I'm like, this is gonna happen.
I gotta tell you, Adam, you have phenomenal taste in cinema. You really are an artist.
I was in a middle seat between two huge people.
That's the worst.
Trying to get back early from a cruise ship for a week. I just was like, and then I see Bisping in the cover, and I'm supposed to do his podcast this week, so I wanted to like talk to him about this. I'm like, I got to see this. I didn't even know he was even in it. But yeah, Never Back Down with Michael. I'm going to get this because it has nothing to do with the first Never Back Down. Like you would think, like imagine like Rocky V wasn't about Rocky. It was about some like he wasn't in the movie. some sex slave. Fucking dude, it's crazy.
I gotta tell you, this is probably the best promo for this movie it's ever gonna get.
Oh, dude, hold on. I gotta see. Okay, it's called Never.
Somebody didn't pay to trademark the name of the movie.
You guys want to see the trailer?
Yes, let us.
Yes.
We must see the trailer.
All right, hold on. And by the way, I'm telling you, Bisbing is awesome in it. So don't go running to Bisbing and saying that I talk shit, because he actually is fucking awesome. But this movie is like
that is not what you said in the beginning. But okay.
Stop! No, I didn't say that. All right, so here we go. Ready and action. I'm telling you.
I like it already.
Revolt. Never been. I guess that's the whole trailer. So
seems like
it looks like there's a lot more coming there. Yeah.
You agreed to make my man look good in exchange for £1,000.
My sister could beat your guy.
Impressive.
Wait, did you say
$1,000?
$1,000?
Help your brother, don't you? How am I going to pay that back from one fight? The right fight. Elite audience. Where then? Rome.
Welcome, Senora.
Well, so far it's better than all of Bellator.
Hello to you, cellmate.
My brother will come for me.
Let him come.
Where are you taking
That
me?
girl needs to beat up whoever did her hair. Those bangs are ridiculous.
We have to get over here. I'm in.
That's busy.
I gotta tell you, of all the parts of this I thought McCorkle had criticized, bangs wasn't at the top of the list.
He's a hairdresser on weekends,
Is that how he affords all the bets? Is that how he pays off all his bets? Is with haircuts? It reminds me, I need to see how I did. I played some ridiculous parlays to see how it did. Well, I think we've seen enough.
I'm telling you, go see that movie.
I love it. You finally took it down off the screen, and now I can actually hear it. But
well, I'm telling you, McCorkle, you're gonna go run and see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to see. I don't know if it's in theaters or if I can watch it like on some kind of stream, but I'm checking it out.
I'm telling you. I want to hit. Everyone's homework is to watch it for next week. Now, by the way, this cruise ship I was on, I forgot to tell you about this. So one of the funniest things about, like, obviously Greg knows, is like watching a comic meltdown is the funniest thing ever, right?
Oh, painful but hilarious.
Dude, there was a cruise I worked, and this guy from Canada, and a nice guy, super, like, you know, people from Canada are usually really nice and happy-go-lucky and blah, blah. Anyway, there was a girl that was in charge of, like, the comedy. Like, she was, like, the one that brought us all up. And she was super hot, and she kept flirting with us, everybody. She's one of those girls that you, like, gives you the illusion that you could fuck her even though you can't. We all know
trouble.
This, right? And she was dating the sound guy who was from, you know, Scotland. So it was like the last show, and this guy ran out of jokes. He told me, like, shit, I don't know what to do. Because it was like, you got to do 3 different 30-minute shows. And then one different 30-minute clean show, PG. So you really need 2 hours of things. But you can, anyway. So he runs out of jokes within like 6 minutes. And the guy has a meltdown. He's like, that girl here that introduced me, I just want to fuck her. I've been thinking about her the entire time.
Oh, my God.
I just want to come on her face. I've jerked off to her 19 times. And, like, she's like, ha, ha, ha. And then he does like 12 minutes of this. It just keeps going. He's like, I just want to fucking pound her. And all I do is think about how much I want to fucking just rail the shit out of her. And her boyfriend's the sound guy. And he's getting madder and madder and madder.
And yet he didn't turn the mic off.
No.
What's that about?
Dude, I'm in the back crying. Like, that was his last cruise. He didn't work any more cruises after that.
Oh, you sure?
But, dude, there was another guy.
I don't think he'd be the top.
Dude, there was another guy I worked with, this black guy who's like this big, like, he's a big corporate comedian, just super nice to everyone, but he's not. You can tell he's like super angry inside, but he comes across really nice. So we did a kid show, and something happened. He was having a day and a half, just fucking having the worst day, and it's all these like people that are not in great shape that are at this kid show, like families that are just overweight families. So he goes up there and he's like, "Hey, you guys know there is a gym here, right?" He goes,
"Oh my god! Oh wow!"
He goes, "You should have seen you guys at the buffet. It's like you guys are grazing." He goes, "They should put an animal soundtrack and just put oink 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 moo." Moo.
Oh my god!
Like, I was like fucking dying.
I love this because this is what happens. They take these gigs, and then after about a week, they're like, "I never want to do this again.
Oh,
I'm going out in a blaze."
Oh, it was so funny. One time, a guy wanted to fight me on a kid show. I did a show, and this guy came in late, a parent, and I'm like, "Oh, were you at the buffet or something?" And he's like, "What?" And he charges the stage. He goes, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" I'm like, "Dude, there are children here." He's like, "Yeah, go. I'll kick your ass." I'm like, "Sir, please sit down." And then I got a bad report for this because they have like.
Yeah, that's what happens. They're not going to write up the fucking audience member. They're going to write you up.
Yeah.
Right.
And one time there was on like a dirty show years ago. This woman came in late, and this blonde woman with like huge tits, and she's like, she was being a little loud. So as she was walking in, I'm like, wow, there's a girl that can deep throat the Lakers, right? And so then she storms out. So I was like trying to get booked back on this ship. So at the end of the week, and it was like, I go up to the cruise director, and I'm like, hey man, thank you for having me. It was an honor to do your ship, blah, blah, blah. Right. So as I'm saying that, I see in my vision that girl walking towards me. Right. So I'm just trying to get my thing out of the way before she gets to me. She gets about 6 feet and goes, "I cannot deep throat the Lakers." It just fucking. Like, well, if you have to say, you could, but.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you tried. Yes, thank you, Don. Exactly.
Oh, God. It's just like, it's one after another. All right, so fights this week, by the way. Samisha Tate. I know, Don, you and Misha used to have a thing. She's
we
back.
never had a thing, people. Come on. It was a one-night joke. It was a joke, and then I got banned from the UFC for it. Kind of like you did that night. I watched you at that bar.
Yeah, at the bar. I was at a casino. Yeah, the waitress.
Yeah.
The waitress.
Right.
Yeah. They did. They kicked me out of that casino after the next day. I couldn't even perform the next night. Because
which one?
At the one in Temecula. What's it called?
Okay, yeah, the Morongo.
Yeah, no, I've like since Pachanga. I've like since been back, but there was a waitress there. I said something like, "Give it up for the waitress," like she puts out or something stupid. Back in New York, like we were kind of raised on comics would say, "Give it for the waitress," she whatever.
She's having my kids, tip her well. Yeah, exactly.
And it was like normally the waitresses laugh and they go, "Thank you," because now I got better tips because of it, or they knew the comedy. Oh, I don't give a fuck. Well, I learned the hard way that's not always the case because on this occasion,
in California,
no. And then so she said to me, "Oh, you're back."
You were the beginning of the Me Too movement. You know that?
Yeah.
You're the one that started all this.
I started the whole thing. So I said to her, I said, "Listen, this time I won't tell the crowd that I want to sleep with you." That's all I said. Like that's what this time. And then she told the head of the gaming people of the reservation that I said. He said I'm not gonna say I want to fuck you. She said the word fuck instead of sleep, and they kicked me out the next day without paying me. It was a fucking disaster. But I've since been back. But yeah, that was a fucking. And then Don was there. Of course, Don was there. Me and Don were hanging out. It was just so embarrassing. I was embarrassed in front of you, Don. I got to admit, I was actually.
I thought it was great.
Well,
I'm sure you probably thought that was the funniest part of the whole show. So
I would have known.
Yeah, any fucking fraud. Hey, any fraud who is working at a casino and doesn't have a sense of humor, fuck her.
Not even to a comedy club in a casino.
Right.
Listen, and that's the thing. You don't want us to get in trouble. Well, UFC don't book Loma Luke Boonme. Come on.
Dude, she's fighting Lupe Gonzalez, right?
Versus Lupe Godness. Like, Lupe versus Luke Boonme. Come on.
But there's a lot of, first of all, there's a lot in this fight here. A lot to uncover. This girl, Lupe Gonzalez, who's from Mexico, is her third fight in a month and a half. Like, she fought on 1 week notice. Talk about Mexicans working harder. Like, she literally, this is her third fight. She had 2 fights in October and now 1 in November. she's also 1-1. But man, they're really putting her to work. I mean, I guess she not taking enough damage. Like fuck it. I mean, but then you're like, well, Don.
They're trying to get that Mexican market going. You know, shit.
I mean,
they got one. They only got one fighter. So.
Yeah, but he's a champ.
Well, but Don, you fought what 4 times in one night?
No, only 3.
So I mean, if you look at it that way, I mean, 3 times in one night versus 3 times in 2 months is nothing. But man, Samisha Tate is fighting, by the way, and she's looked good. You know, she retired. She did not look good. Her last fight, I think, it was against Raquel Pennington. She was just burnt. She had 2 kids, and it looks better than ever. I mean, you look at her Instagram. I don't know what weight training they got her on or what, but she looks solid. I gotta say, I was at the fight versus Holly Holm when she won the title. And me and Misha got off to a rough start. Like, she did not like my jokes. She was not a fan. And then over the years, she's now come to my shows. Super cool. Came to my show a couple weeks ago. I consider her a friend. And I was friends with Caraway more than Misha. I'm friends with both of them, even though they fucking hate each other. But Misha Tate is I was so happy when she beat Holly Holm because she was always that girl that was bridesmaid. Like, she was always Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate, Ronda Rousey. And it was like almost like she was almost cast as the bad girl until The Ultimate Fighter came out and you were like, oh, wait, this is Ronda? This isn't who I thought this isn't the girl they were marketing her as, this all-American, like, you were like, well, there was a couple. But Misha Tate, when she beat Holly Holm, I was so happy for her because it was one of those things where it was like the girl that wasn't supposed to won, and the one who's always kind of been slighted. So I was super happy for her. That, unfortunately, she went into Nunez the next fight, and we saw how that went. But yeah, I think that she's got a good shot against this girl. I don't know much about her. This girl lost like 2 out of her last 3 fights, but in the beginning she was looking amazing. So what are your thoughts on Misha Tate, Greg?
Well, I mean, she gets to step right back in and be the main event. I don't know. I don't see that as, I don't know where, again, okay. You're throwing her right back in a 5-rounder when you have Michael Chiesa fighting on the fight right. She fought a couple months ago. She beat the girl that was the Belizean bruiser, Marion Renault. Yeah. That's right. It's still though. I mean, I don't know. I don't see Caitlin Vieira versus Misha Tate as a headlining match. But good for her. I mean, if you want 5 rounds, you got them.
Don, thoughts?
Hell, I don't know. I don't know anything about the opponent. But, yeah, why would you throw her out there if you got better fighters on the undercard? I mean, it's obviously they're just marketing sex appeal, Well,
they also need a female star. They don't have I mean, Rose Namajunas, who's their female star, is very she's not one of these girls that's like, look at me. If anything, she shaved her head. And she's like, don't look at me.
Yeah, Rose is fucking gorgeous with long hair.
Oh, she really is. You're right.
We were talking about that the other day, that she shaved her head because she didn't want to be just the other pretty girl who can fight. Well, you're not, Rose. We know you're the fucking champion now. Now grow your hair long so we can all appreciate the other aspect of you, and we can oogle your looks instead of just your fighting skill. You're fucking gorgeous with long hair. Right now, you look like some kind of a demented hamster.
Now, it's important to note that the opinions of Don Frye do not represent those of everybody else.
They probably represent a lot of people that watch the show.
No, and it's true, but I agree with this analysis in terms of, she was like, I don't want people looking at me going, oh, she's so cute. I want them to see a fighter, so she fucking shaved her head. But I agree with that. I think that's a valid move. I mean, because otherwise, I wouldn't want it to be about that,
Part of me thinks
I love Rose.
Part of me thinks it's cool, though, that she's so not about that. That is kind of cool because in the
proved that she's not about it, though. She's proved she's a great fighter. So let's go for the sex appeal and get some goddamn movies and make some money, because in a few years this shit's all going to be over, and you're gonna need to rely on your looks now.
Yeah, I mean,
there is something to be said for that in terms of the ancillary money that can be made. Although, that kind of stuff, doing it at the same time, I mean, that's what ruined Ronda Rousey's career as a fighter.
Look, in the age of the Valerie Letourneaus, who's all about the fucking grinding and whatever. And then you got the Rose is the opposite. You're right. Maybe they were like having some sort of happy medium wouldn't be nice. At the same time, I hear you, Don. I hear what you're saying. And but the point is that they need right now. They don't need. But I'm sure the UFC can use a girl who's like a Samisha Tate, super
a cover
hot,
girl,
hot, media savvy, well spoken, can do that, and they don't really have that. Amanda Nunes is not that girl.
Yeah, but you got to wonder what the motivation. You got to know she's got people telling her about that all the time, and she's making a conscious choice not to do, which I think means she wants to focus on being a great fighter. And the second it starts becoming about those other things is the second you get beat. And I got to say, I respect her for keeping her eye on the ball.
I'm talking about Misha right now.
No.
Oh, I'm talking about Rose.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Misha. I'm saying like the reason why she's probably a headliner is because they kind of need that right now. They need somebody.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Why they're forcing it with this Samisha Tate shit versus Caitlin. I mean, that's just not a headlining match. Michael Chiesa, that guy, everyone
I'll tell you
knows
what,
what big time.
Chiesa has his work cut out for him because he's coming off a loss against Luque that was he was winning, and then until he wasn't. Now that guy Luque is a monster. And this dude, Sean Brady, is 14-0 out of Philly. And I thought he's one of these guys, Don, that I'm like, oh, this guy's got to be a college wrestler. His wrestling's that good. And then I looked him up last night. He never wrestled before. He's just an athlete.
Wow.
He's just an athlete with power. And he's one of those dudes that Chiesa, I obviously want Chiesa to win. He's a friend of mine. I like Chiesa, but holy shit, man. Certain guys, Bilal Muhammad, Michael Chiesa, I give them the props they deserve. Don Frye, I put you in that thing. You didn't give a fuck about preserving your legacy or picking easy fights because they're going right into the fucking hornet's nest. Even with this guy, Chimaev. Chimaev's like, I want an opponent. And Neil Magny's like, pick me. And then what's his name was like, pick me. The guy that I just talked about, Bilal Muhammad. He's like, I'll fight you. I mean, good for you guys. Like, that's a fucking – you guys have a – good for you. I fucking love that. I love that. I fucking love it when guys like, you're the best guy out there or you're the guy who looks unbeatable. Fight me. I give you a lot of props. Now, is it the smartest move? Who knows? I guess if like you win, right? Joanne Calderwood.
Right. It's a gamble. It's a big gamble. You're rolling the dice for everything, All or nothing.
Yeah. Joanne Calderwood, who got married to John Wood. So now she's just Joanne Wood. That's fucking pretty easy, right?
Nice.
So her she's fighting the girl that beat Roxanne Modafferi, who John Wood also trains. Now, Don, I asked you a question. So if your coach just fought somebody or just trained somebody to fight someone that beat his girl, and now your next girl is fighting that person, does that give you an advantage, or do you think maybe you could overthink it?
All right, run that one by me again, buddy.
So John Wood is training Roxanne Modafferi, all right? She loses to this girl, this, like, tough Brazilian girl. So then now John Wood is now training Joanne Calderwood. He has her fighting the same girl. So he's already prepared for this girl before, but lost. Do you think do you think John has an advantage? Do you think your camp has an advantage because you've already trained for this person, for this type of fighter?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You've already studied the fighter, but now you have a different fighter who has a different skill set. So you have to, take her skill set and fight with it. So you have much better advantage.
But I've seen it work the other way, where like the fighter keeps beating the same guy from the same camp, or the different guys from the same camp, where it's like,
well, it's their using that guy,
Right.
If your trainer can't beat, if your trainer cannot figure out how to beat the champion, go get another trainer.
Right. It makes sense.
I got to tell you guys, there's a lot of fun names here on this undercard.
Well, Terrence McKinney is fighting. He's a guy that has knocked out his last three guys in probably a combined 35 seconds. He was a state champ wrestler who lost his scholarship because he took acid one night, had a terrible trip, and tried to fight 4 cops. Got tased and pronounced dead 3 times. And overcame it. Mom bailed him out of jail. Now he's on the straight and narrow. He's sober, and he's killing it. See, this is what they should be talking about when they announce these guys. Like they never tell this story.
But then every one of these women's fights will be like, she had an abusive boyfriend who used to beat her up and cheated on her. So she got him back by training how to fight. And here she is tonight. Well, and in this corner, she had an abusive boyfriend who beat her up and cheated on her. Like,
well, sometimes the announcers, I'm not saying the guy when you announce them to say that, but the guy's talking about it. But the problem is sometimes like when John Anik will bring it up, he'll be like, yeah, he's fighting right now because he lost custody for his child and he can't see it. And it's just so out of fucking like left field where like, you're like, huh? Like, oh, yeah, he needs to work on the jab, slip it, go for a double leg, and hopefully he can see his kid next week. You're like, wait, what? Like, how does that have to do it? Like, but they should give you more of a, like, that's the worst when I'm watching a fight. And like, you're not even going to mention the fact the guy spent 6 years in San Quentin, and now he's like, you're not going to mention any of this. We're not going to give me any backstory on this person. It bothers me because I'm telling my wife, telling Bree to get her involved because she's rolling her eyes, looking at dresses to watch, and then I'm like, dude, this person right here spent blah 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 blah. She's like, really? And like, but I'm like, yeah, well, that's. Dude, the difference this time, I took my wife to a fight. It was Mark Hunt versus who was it? I think it was Mark Hunt versus Overeem, and Overeem landed a fucking knee on Hunt. The whole place was like, like everyone was like shocked. It was like you thought he was dead. And I look over at Bree, who's obviously we're in Dana's, like I got the Dana seats, blah blah, and she's buying dresses, like she's literally on her phone buying dresses, right? And I'm like, listen, Bree, if you're not gonna watch this, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take someone else to the fights. Who are you gonna take? I'm not gonna take a date. I'm just gonna take someone that will actually enjoy. She's like, no, I want to go. Well, I'm like, well, at least watch the fights, She's like, okay, right? So then like 5 minutes later, she's like, this fight's amazing. They were walking out. like it hasn't started yet, right? Dude, then the one time she got excited, one time she has her phone out, and I'm like, oh, who's there? She's like, Demi Lovato. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. There was a one time this actress, who's that hot blonde actress? Super hot. She's got a weird name. I think she's from Australia. I forgot her name. Not Cameron Diaz. She's like, anyway, she was there by herself one time watching the fights, like front row, just studying. And then she was like preparing for a role or something. It was because I go, wow, that kind of looks like what's her name? And it was her. That was a little strange. But anyway. All right.
Well, also on these fights on the other card is a guy, it looks like his name is Aqualung. I hope he comes out to Aqualung when he fights.
Somebody came out already to that song, by the way. To Charlize
Island
Theron.
Boys?
Yeah, Island Boys. Charlize Theron was there by herself. And I go, that looks like Charlize Theron. And it was Charlize Theron, like by herself.
Oh, there you go.
Well, now, what do you think of Halle Berry getting in the way of the stare down between Rose and Welly? Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
So Halle Berry was there during the face-off.
Yeah, because they usually have some movie where she plays a fighter, I guess, coming out.
Yeah, and it looked like Rose wanted to kill her. Like Rose started staring down Halle Berry. Like,
well, maybe she's getting smart and trying to get a movie role. Grow your hair, Rose. Grow your hair. And you get all kinds of movie roles.
And listen, if Halle Berry wants to get into fighting, I'm pretty sure they'll give her a headlining match on a UFC Fight Night.
Yeah. Or she play it safe and do a headliner on Bellator and nobody will see it if she loses.
Anyway, Greg, what do you have coming up?
I don't know, something or other. You'll find it. Follow me on IG at Greg Romero Wilson. That's where I post everything.
This week,
and you know what? Actually, I post new stand-up comedy clips every single day during the week. So be sure and follow me and catch the comedy clips every day.
Are you on TikTok?
And on TikTok, yeah. At Greg Romero Wilson, same handle.
Cool. I'm Real Adam Hunter. I'll share your clips on TikTok.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then I'm at the El Paso comic strip this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Your hometown.
Yeah. One of them, that's for sure.
You and Beto O'Rourke. And then, Don, what do you have coming up?
Doing my podcast with Dan Severn, just looking at get Brian Ortega in and a couple other Chuck Liddell and a couple other good names to come over and interview.
Well, Don, you're the best. Love you, man. Greg, you're the best. I'll see you guys later. Take care.
Thank you, brother. Talk soon.